Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another live session here, Automotive Anatomy. Just wanted to tune in with all of you. As always, in the chat, I start off with, can you guys hear me? I think I figured it out. I can see that the volume thing is picking up my voice, and so I think you guys can hear me, but I think it's also important to verify, not assume, before we go into a little bit of the two channels that I want to present to you guys today. But hope everybody's doing well. Hope it's a beautiful Tuesday. So I hope your week is decent. It's never gonna be perfect, but I hope that it's going well for you guys. So as soon as I get a little bit of there's a little bug. Hola, hola, papacito. Ay, papacitos. But to be checking in, bro. What's cracking like it, man? How you been? You been MIA? Hola, hola, papacito. ¿Qué pasó, Samuel? How are you? Gene, who does the live chat during the Dodger game? Simple. I don't care about the Dodger. Um, and I'm actually rooting for the Braves. No, honestly, I don't really care about uh baseball as much. I mean, I'm an Angels fan, and for those that may not know, the Angels Dodgers are like super close, and so the Dodgers are the better team. They have been the better team for the past I don't know how many years. I think in all the franchises have been better, and but I don't really care so much. I want to see good games, and frankly, I think that a lot of Dodger fans are just I don't know, for lack of a better word, annoying, and whatever their team wins, their team wins. It doesn't really benefit me or anything. Bye, Gene. I hope the Braves win. But anyways, yeah. So I think you guys can hear me, so that's good. I wanted to start off today by two channels that I've shown in the past, but um, they're putting in the work. They're putting in the work, and so I think it's fair to show it, and you guys can see some of the stuff that I've been watching. So here we go. Dun, dun, dun. The very first one that I want to come to your attention is Saget Net 2. Um, our buddy Noel here. Oh, that was loud. Our buddy Noel, for some of you guys don't remember, he's been working on a Civic. He's in the G23 turbo swap that Civic. It's a 6th gen sedan, and he's working on his BBK. He ended up going with the spoon caliper, 11-inch Mini Cooper rotor, and I don't know what else he got from the other parts, but the ultimate setup looks pretty good. He obviously replaced wheel bearings, bushings, everything and anything, and he did it from home, so that's pretty cool. And so he's working on Civics, guys. So like, if you guys enjoy, um, most of you guys will enjoy Civics, then I think it's cool to see because he's very knowledgeable when it comes to the Accords, but the Civics is new, and so um that's what I'm sure maybe he could use some help from some of you guys. And if you guys were to follow his channel, you'll see that he's putting in mad work. He does the best he can, um, and he tries to be very very helpful. I know in that core community he was doing that, with the Civic build he was on. As he's saying, I um I don't know much about Civics. I'm trying to do the best I can, but yeah, I mean, there it is. So it's a pretty good setup. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Um, and so I hope that you guys kind of get some value out of that because I think you guys would benefit. So that's everybody know. Our next dude is Leo. Leo, he was originally from Southern Cali. He ended up moving up north. I guess that's where his home is. And as you guys can tell, he's very well, not very close. He's in Northern Cali. He's so much closer to our buddy Young Static, Dana here. And so they've been working together. Dana has been kind enough to work on his I want to say it's a B18B. So he's been helping him out as much as he can. They did the swap at Dana's house. There seems to be a little bit of issues going on, so they're trying to make sure that they diagnose it correctly. And again, for how heavy the car is, A B18B, my opinion is enough. Obviously, B16A or B18C would be aesthetically and performance, in my opinion, better. I think the B18C, but these are pretty good too. So there's nothing wrong with those. B20V or whatever. I think it's also for a little hatchback like this one. So I haven't seen that video. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. It looked like just based on their facial expressions, it looks like they ran into some issues, and so hopefully, hopefully the motor is not a bad one. Gina's telling us that we're missing a good baseball game. I've been trying to look for it on regular TV, and I don't. It hasn't popped up. So, um, I think they're only showing the World Series on regular TV. I don't have cable. I don't have like a sports channel, and I think that just comes from the fact that I'm trying to spend more time doing meaningful stuff like this. To some people, it might say, what's meaningful about this? To me, I'm able to communicate with people all around the world and just have a chat about everything and anything and nothing at the same time. But I think that that's what I look forward to. Um, you know, unpopular opinion would for some of you guys is that I don't get caught up too much on sports. I used to do that. I used to like be a major sport fanatic, but I don't know. I mean, once you start realizing that it's entertainment, and whether the team wins or loses, like it has no, for the most part, I think for most of us, has no impact on your everyday life. I think that that's when I don't know. I'd rather spend my time doing something else. And so, don't get me wrong, I'm still down to watch, especially football games. I want to see good games, which I do. Soccer games, the same thing. But I don't get so caught up on, you know, I'm not gonna do X, Y, or Z because there's a game. I don't know. I see that from people, and that's fine. That's not my cup of tea. Some people would say the same thing about cars. I like cars, but I'm not gonna go spend $5,000 on a couple wheels and suspension pieces, right? And that's appropriate. I think that that's right. That's the reason why you should have your own, um, things that you want to spend your time. Ultimately, we're gonna be, all of us are gonna be gone one day, and you choose to spend the time the way you want to. Rob says from Canada, a Quartz Park way over there. Yeah, man. I don't know. I've always been like that. Whenever I went to any type of car meet or anything like that, I always like to be off to the side. I don't really care so much for pictures. Don't get me wrong. When I see somebody snap a picture of my car, I like it. Um, but I've never been that type that let me get the best parking possible so I can get the shots and get tagged and things like that. Uh, I've always been more of a low pro type of dude, and I know it's kind of hard to believe it just because obviously I'm trying to grow a YouTube channel, but no, I mean I'm very obnoxious and loud, especially when you guys get to know me on a personal level. But if I don't know you, I'll be very quiet. Um, I think I was having a discussion with one of my coworkers. I was telling them that I'm not always right by no means, but I tend to organize. I tend to observe and watch people and see how they act and see what they do and pick up on different things. And I think that that has gone a long way. Obviously, some of you guys understand and know that I work in education where I need to speak with people. And I've learned that you have to you have to be careful with what you say, even when you feel comfortable, and you have to act a certain way. Um, and now you're probably thinking like, how did you get into this conversation? Well, I I am not much of to be in the spotlight. Therefore, I've always been of I'll park my car off to the side. Now, if you are that person, or you know of somebody, or think that you know somebody that wants to park there so they can get pictures, or maybe they don't, they just want to park where the whole host is. That's fine. It's going back to the Dodger game. Just because you like something doesn't mean that I'm going to enjoy it, and vice versa. And for me, it's always been like that. I've always been just low key, keep to myself. I don't know. I think it's worked for me. I like it. I like being able to go in and go out without people noticing. Obviously, we know that we're in a DNA where social media rules the world, and how do you get um, more viewers, more followers. It's you have to be in and about, and you have to be right in the middle. If not, you have to be the center of attention. And I've seen that with other people that are trying YouTube. They're trying to grow their YouTube channels, where they show up and they cruise it, like 2 3 times. Like obviously, some people, I don't know, look at their cars or take pictures, and that's fine. Um, and they get out, and it's just like, look at me type of attention. And I've always been um turned off by it, I guess, it's for lack of a better word. I don't the I've always had that idea. And I think it comes from my grandma, that less people know you, the better. And obviously that's ironic with the channel, right? I think if my grandma was still alive, she would be like, "Why in the hell are you talking to a camera? Letting people know your problems or your thoughts, is keep it to yourself." Um, but I think that that's also the reason why I like to be quiet, but I like interacting with people, and so this is like a good medium, right? And it's trippy because the last time I went to some car meet, there was a gentleman with his girlfriend, and I was doing my little thing, and then he goes, "Oh shoot, it is you." I looked at him. He's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" He goes, "Out of more of an anime." He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man? That's nice to meet you. Appreciate you, watching the channel." And then his girl goes, it's kind of weird to hear your voice because he has you in the background. Either he's doing something, folding the laundry, cooking, or whatever the case may be. Like your voice is in the background, so to hear it like right next to me, it was super weird. I said, "No, it's cool." um and I definitely, I appreciate those interactions. I'm not saying that I'm taking them for granted. um but I wouldn't be the one that, as I pull up, I want everybody to start taking pictures of me. I get out of the car and everybody starts saying hi. I would not like that. I think that if that ever comes to be the case, I will definitely stop going to Carson Coffee. you know? And again, I'm not trying to say that I'm famous, and that's definitely not what I want. Um, but it would definitely make me extremely uncomfortable to be in the middle of the crowd. And um, I think, I don't know. It's just I want to be that guy who can, have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, or 3 or 5 or whatever. Just talking to myself on my GoPro, and um, taking pictures and saying hi to people, and then saying hi, peace. Like that's me. Like I'm an early bird, and I like to leave early. Some people like that, some people don't. I've read some comments where people are like, "Why the heck would you drive 35 minutes just to be there for an hour?" Because I can. It's as simple as that. If you want to be there for 3 hours, be my guest. I'm not tripping. You're good. You can be there for 8 hours. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna go home and do my own thing. And so that's the reason why Course Park all the way over there, man. But nah, dude. Honestly, as much smack as everybody talks in the courts, EGCKs, yes, EFs, they run the world. But I've seen so many people show some mad love to a courts, because it's one of those cars that people like, but they wouldn't own themselves, and that's fine. I think that that's what it is. Dodgers no good. They do cheat a lot. I agree. I just don't like the Dodgers, mostly because of their fans. Doing pretty well. Good to be back in your stream, man. Cooking something good. Saw a unit down in San Leandro. Hope I can bring it home soon. That's what's up, man. I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing things. I hope things are getting better for you. Just because I know last time we had a chat. It was just craziness. But I'm glad that you're doing good, and I saw that you're uploading a little bit more. So I haven't been able to catch your videos, but hopefully I can check them out soon. Rafa from Long Beach, who also happens to be a huge Dodger fan. Let's see what he says. Will you be in attendance at the Japanese Classic Car Show in Anaheim? That's a great question. I had said no. Um, it's super close to my house. Thank you, Ralph, by the way, for being part of this. I had said no at the beginning to somebody else who had asked me. Mostly, and again, going back to that, like I'm not a big hype type of person. And so I don't like shows where it's just let's get as many cars in. I'm not saying I don't mind. I'm not saying that I don't care about just any car getting in, and that I only want specific builds. No, I like the vibe of a car meet, as ironic as that sounds. Um, For those that may not know, Japanese Classic Car Show was hosted in Long Beach for many years, and I really like the location. Granted, yes, it hosted less cars, but just being in the marina, next to the beach, the weather in Long Beach, you have San Diego, who's the best weather probably in the world, and Cali, but then you got Long Beach. And Long Beach has amazing weather, and it was like the experience to get on the 22, go down by downtown Long Beach, park my car, go get some coffee, walk down to the marina, um, and just being there. I think that's what I really like. Yes, it hosted less cars, but the weather was perfect, the view was perfect, um, and so now it got moved, and I don't know why they got moved, but it got moved to Angel Stadium of Anaheim, which is like 10 minutes away where I live. Now you're probably thinking, well, what's the problem? The problem is it's just this big parking lot. There's a freeway next to it. Sure, there's the Angel Stadium. Um, that's it. There's shopping centers. Obviously, still Orange County. There's a lot of things you can do, but I don't know. Um, I think I am gonna make it out. I'm not gonna lie. I think I am. I gotta look at the schedule. Um, I try to tend more to schedule more car interviews as opposed to car shows. And going back to that, I'm more of a low key type of person, and Ralph knows that more than anybody. He's probably even more low key than I am when it comes to that core community. He has one of the cleanest civics, core coops, and he never really showcases it. And so, um, I don't know. I think I am. I have to look at the schedule again. It's one of those things that I legit I'm not planning around it. I'm planning more on individual interviews. I think I might even be in San Diego interviewing somebody that day. So I'm not gonna go to San Diego and come back just to be rushing. Nah, that's it. But yeah, Japanese Classic Car Show. If anybody's in Anaheim or Orange County area, definitely recommend it. There's it's a lot of amazing cars that come out now. Another thing, as you guys know, I like to complain because what else do we got? And I mean, I would love to hear you guys' thing, but to me, Japanese classic car show means a classic. They extended the years that are admitted. If I'm not mistaken, it was up to 95 now. I disagree. I don't think that that should be it. I don't think a 95 car is a classic. Um, Ironically, I think Ralph is going to be showcasing his car, which is a 94, if I'm not mistaken, on the show because now they qualify. I don't think, and again, this can be controversial, whatever. I don't think those cars belong there. I think that you can definitely appreciate it. Maybe like a what is it called, neo classic, like new classic, maybe. But to say classic, man, I'm 80, early 90s is pushing it. I think you know no 80s and below. I think I just there's so many other cars that I would want to see at a Japanese classic car show, but now they're taken over by a whole bunch of EFs and DAs and Accords and even vans. Now, big disclaimer, it's not that I have nothing something against those people and their build. I just think that there's so many other cool little cars, especially Toyota, Nissan, that has old school cars that could be showcased, trucks, Datsuns. I mean, the list goes even, and I guess it comes back from a place where would you rather see three Fs and three Datsun 620s, which is an example. I personally, at that show, I'd rather see six Datsun 620s. I don't care about the EFs. Um, I just don't think they're classic enough. Maybe they're 80s, sure, but 90s, nah, I don't know, man. I think the minute you start involving plastic bumpers, that's a big hey, like things have changed. And again, I don't want to sound like that old man, like oh, back in my day, or like resisting to change, but that's the way I feel. Feel free to um, agree, disagree. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna get to that comment because I know I'm speaking very slow today. Um, but that's just the way I feel, man. I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know. If you think okay, so let me ask you guys. I'll get to that question. Japanese classic car show. What is the latest year you believe a classic Japanese car should be able to join? And if you guys say, even if you guys say 2002, I mean, if you have a good reason to defend it, I mean, who am I to say that you're wrong? I'm just saying it's classic, man. Like it's 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. That's like old, like 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah, I don't know about that, but Rob, I don't watch sports much. I don't sport that. I don't watch sports much anymore. They only want your money, dude. But that's how it is. Everything, entertainment. It's actually the sports are under entertainment, so that's what it is. Elijah Santiago, I love your videos. Keep up the good work, Elijah. Thank you, Elijah. I appreciate it. I don't know if it's Aaliyah, but okay. EM2 Civic. Okay. No, why? I don't know what I'm talking about. Rob, I've always been quiet and low key, but it's not easy driving these EFs daily. Nah, man. I mean, you're driving you're driving history, right? Like I mentioned. I think you're driving 88, 89. So that way people are like, so you just said, you're driving history, and then you're like backtracking. No, I'm just saying I don't think 90s cars should belong in the Japanese classic car show, but yet you're rolling in 80s, 90s cars. I think it's pretty cool. Ken again, yo. Actually, man, I haven't seen you post. Maybe that my algorithm is not hitting, but definitely check out Canyon Gang on YouTube. Uh, he has a sick accord, so sick accord, means everything. Hi from Dr. Philip on you, or Buddy Polo from Long Beach. It's cool to see. It's cool to catch up with different people. So Polo, he hit me up. I think it's like a year now. He had reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I think you would want to interview me." Dope. Yes, badass car. We met up in Long Beach, had a great interview, had a good time. Um, the car looked great, but there was so much stuff that he still wanted to change, right? No problem. When people say that, they're like, okay, I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna change that. It's usually like I would say like 5 year, kind of progression. This guy went ahead and just stripped the whole thing. If I'm not mistaken, it was NA back then. Now it's boosted. Um, they repainted the whole entire car. Um, I mean, I think this car right now pictures don't do justice, and so I hit him up today. Ironically, I was at work. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't hit up Polo for interview, a follow up interview, and so hopefully next month we start catching up and we start coordinating something. I think that EG to see how it went from before to after. It's cool, and a lot of people have hitting me up about that. Like, hey, can you do follow up interviews on certain people? And I say, well, yeah, I can do that. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at 5 p.m., Easy, YEG, that happens to be on sale, will be. We did a follow up interview, so that's gonna go live tomorrow, and I think you guys are gonna enjoy it because the car is completely different. And I think that that's the same thing with Polo. The car is completely different. Sure, it's the same cars, same EG, but I mean, now both of them went boosted and both of them respray some stuff. So it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to, Polo. Hopefully, we can make that happen very soon. But guys, you got to Japanese classic car show. I need a video from it. That's funny you mentioned that, Rob. I mean, last 2 years, and I get it. Like I take it for granted because it's right here. Um, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, um, I ended up going, and I don't know if it was because I was cheap. I parked right, and then I just started recording the parking lot, and I thought that I was like, no one has ever done that. Like I don't know. There'll be multiple videos about the car show itself, but I'm like, I want to see the people that come to these shows that what they drive because it's the weekend, so they're driving their modified cars. And to my surprise, dude, it was a whole different atmosphere outside. Uh, it was a car show within itself, and I really enjoyed it. So yes, I haven't been back to the Japanese classic car show in about 3 years. Um, I will try to make it out. I just, man, it's not aesthetically pleasing in my head. Plus it's probably gonna be warm. If it's cloudy, better. But if not, we'll see. I'm gonna try to make it out. I gotta look at after this. I'll go look at the dates because I do have um a couple interviews in San Diego coming up from that old school Honda me that we did that I attended in San Diego. Obviously, I saw some cars. I hit them up, and they happen to be local to 619, and now I'm driving back down there, like an hour and a half. So definitely, definitely something that I will try to make it out, Rob. Okay, I'll try. Dodgers win. What did you win? What did you win, Gene? Nothing. Nothing. Um, okay, now that the Dodgers won, now Gene is happy again. Astros and if come back. Cheaters. All right, I think we're gonna start having a conversation about um, being low key. Here we go. Funny you should mention the location, Ralph says, because that was my favorite part about it being in Long Beach. Facts. Now that it got moved, I'm not as enticed to go. And JCCS is one of my favorite shows. I absolutely agree with you. I don't know if you remember, Ralph. They had Nissan. I think it was Neo Nissan. Some type of meet like that. And it was so cool. It was the one time that I went, it was in Torrance by some Nissan dealership. And the location, yes, it was like a big parking lot. But the vibes of it, just because of Long Beach, what the weather provides, and just the scenery, I really liked it. And obviously, JCCS was um, one of my most favorite ones that I like to go. Also, they have Toyota Fest. They had it in that same location, and that's why I would go because I liked it. Um, but I don't know. I mean, I don't. I understand that there's always legalities, and maybe they're trying to grow the business, or they couldn't host it at the city anymore, whatever the case may be. I think a lot of cars are going to come out. I think a lot more cars are going to be out. Um, Content would be a great thing to go and see, but it's just the location is a big, huge thing for me. And it's not that because of baseball. It's not because I don't like the Angels. I'm an Angels fan. I mean, if I would be more enticed to go see a whole bunch of classic cars at some warehouse, like old school industrial area, maybe the arts district in LA. I'm down to drive there as opposed to be in a big parking lot like, Irwindale. That was one of the reasons why I didn't go to the Honda Super Meet, aside from the fact that they were charging $30. For me to walk around a big parking lot of very nice builds, but I'm like, I'm paying $30 and I'm not even getting that nice aesthetic view. Like, okay, oh, I'm here, I'm willing to pay that like at Peterson Museum, the automotive museum in LA, because you're in LA, you get to, I don't know, it's just different. You're trying to pay for that experience, I would say. It got moved more than likely because of COVID and permitting in Long Beach. Yes, I forgot that we still have COVID, which is kind of crazy. I'm not showcasing my car. We need to work on the paint. Your car is like near mint, but I guess you have higher standards than I do. Um, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't think your car belongs to the classic car show. And I think I've told you that before, but if not, I'm gonna tell you. I don't think your car belongs there because I don't think my cars belong there. They're not classic. They're not old enough. Um, but again, that's just my my 2 cents. EGs are starting to be classic trigger gas. No, they're starting to be very hard to find, but I don't know about classic, like, so if those are classic, then what are bugs and what are the, even the Toyota's 86s, um A86s, like those are getting extremely stupid to find, and they're getting really, really expensive, which is kind of crazy. Damn, no love. Rob has a red Civic EF. What is it, 89, if I'm not mistaken? And your car belongs there. Don't get me wrong, Rob. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I see like Toyota Starlets, right? Those I don't see them often. So when I see a Toyota Starlet, I'm like, damn, like somebody's driving this clunker, right? Or I see a Datsun 520, no, 521. Or obviously the 240Zs. You guys know how I feel about them. And I'm like, damn, people are driving these ones. Like, that's dope. You see, as Honda Civic, yeah, maybe because I'm used to them. Um, you know, First generation CRX is sure, like juniors, Mint. I get it, but now we have DAs. Now we have, Accords, and nah, it's just, yeah. You guys can tell I'm triggered. But no, man. Well, answer my question. What do you guys think should be the limit for classic, or maybe? And the reason why I say this is because the name of the freaking show is classic. That's all I'm saying. It's a classic. So if you don't want people like me complaining, then yeah, neo classic, sure, whatever. Throw in the 2030s, bring Teslas. I don't care. But if it's classic, just gotta keep it classic. A86s have plastic bumpers, man. Shut up. You know what I mean. Now you're gonna get to the legalities of that. Go down to need the small details. You get what I'm saying, though, man. Just the interiors of an '80s car, so it's different. But yeah, I get you. And I mean, again, I'm not upset if it's okay, guys, that you are wrong. It's okay. I'm not upset if you guys think that I'm wrong. I legitimate don't get upset about it. I mean, it makes me sometimes it makes me think like, well, maybe this is a niche that you wanted, right? This is the opportunity where you can host your own meet or show and create it where you want to create it. Um, I think we are lacking that, especially in the Honda world. I think we're lacking like a show like that. Neo Nissan, something like that. Geo. I don't remember what it was called, but it was on Nissans, all Toyotas. I think that if somebody was to do like a nice, I guess Stika Diljo would be a great example. I really enjoyed his meets. Why? I have no idea. Um, and obviously, I think he had only accepted like 200 cars back at the iBox, but the vibe of it was cool. The cars obviously were top notch. Um, and some can argue, well, it was a parking lot. Well, yeah, but the vibe was different. It wasn't like at an Angel Stadium. I feel like even if he was to host a meet in Angel Stadium, I'll probably go, but it goes back to that. Like I wouldn't plan out around it. Like it wouldn't be like the main thing just because of the location. And you guys know what I'm talking about. It's freaking. I don't know how you guys do it. It's extremely hot, and you guys are all just sitting there. And it's like you walked around once, maybe you walked around twice, and then it's like it's hot, and you just look at each other, and you just can't wait to go home. It's like I don't want that. Also, they began taking the Neo Classics after taking in the Neo Classic after the Toyota facility closed its gates a couple of years back when they moved to Texas. Bummer. JCS does it to accommodate those years since they lost the event. Why not create your own event? That's all I'm saying. The Neo Classics. There you go. Neo, what stands for new? So that's what I'm telling you, man. That sure. Throw in all the 90s. Neo Classic. That's the reason why I would go to that specific show. I wanted to see the 90s Silvias. I wanted to see, early 2000 cars. Definitely. I had no problem when it comes to that. But um, I think JCCS is doing a disservice to a lot of old school cars because they do have. I don't know how they're gonna do it here, Angels Stadium, but before that, their room was limited, right? And so, I mean, what are you gonna do if you're and I'm not saying that it's something like it's Honda. No, if you're opening up the window to all these newer chassis, you're taking away from some of the older ones. And I think it's so much. And I could be wrong, but I think it's so much harder to build an older car, and to have something pristine like that I think a lot of people are getting turned away because there was only limited space. And so that's my take on it. 91 should be the last year. I was born in 91. Um, why 91? Just question. I mean, it, I don't know what would 91 be the because of that's the last generation of the EFs or why last event due to the venue. 1990. Why are you guys sticking with 90s? I don't get it. Like, really? Like 1990? Like, when you hear of 1990, do you really hear that as classic, Rob? I mean, I don't know. Cars with no airbags are classics. Yes, I 100% agree. We die like real men or something like that. Old school. So does taking my airbag to have no airbags count? Yeah, take it off from your like 2018 Toyota Tundra. Think about it. If you have a 1990 EF, you wouldn't consider a 30-year-old car like a 1960 Chevy a classic. Think about this. Okay, so Rob tells us, think about this. If you have a 1990 EF, you wouldn't consider a 30-year-old car like a 1960 Chevy a classic. Let me see. I mean, 1960 till now, it's a long time, dude. I guess that's the rule, right? Is it 30 years? That officially makes a car a classic. I think that I'm having that hard distinction between what you're just saying right now. Um, I don't know. Yes, I think I'm having a hard time understanding the fact that we are moving with the times, and therefore, even though it's a 90, 91 in this case, or let's go with the 90, right? That's still 31 years. I guess in my head, I still think like 90s was 5 days, 5 years ago when it's not. It's actually a long time. And you're right. A 90s car still, it's hard to see them in the road. Um, but maybe because in my head, I'm constantly driving 95s and my world revolves around the whole 90s. I don't see it as far away land. But when I hear 1960s, it's like, I mean, when I hear 1930s and 40s, people that are building those cars, I can't even fathom my head around it because I'm thinking like 40s. Where the heck do you find parts? 50s, 60s. Like, why the heck would anybody? I'm thinking 40s and 50s. Why the heck anybody would want to give themselves a headache? Um, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's 31 years, man. I guess 90s is getting old, but I still think in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, I don't know, it wasn't too long ago. Polo, smart ass, or should I say, no, don't, no, smart ass, he's smart ass. So that makes guys a class. No, look, I have a whole bunch of airbags, big old boobies. No, man, I don't know. I would consider myself an old soul, but I don't know about a classic. Um, I think, uh, I think on that theme, I think we are missing a lot of that, the classics, right? Just having conversation with older individuals. I think we're definitely missing that. I think, you know, that's something that I look up so much to. Somebody like Gene, who's around 50 years old, and he's constantly fixing and buying and selling and restoring EF parts. Um, by the way, Gene, you haven't given us an update on the CRX. We're still waiting, buddy. Rob, you're 46, if I'm not mistaken. Red Sanja, you're 46, and I know Rob from Canada. I think he's in his 40s as well. And so Ralph is in his late 30s, and I'm 30 or mid 30s, I should say, not late 30s. Sorry, Ralph. Um, and Polo, think late 30s, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the cool thing. Like that's what I like, and that's the reason why I feel like we're dealing with a whole bunch of dudes who are in their 20s to 50s, and we're messing with 90s cars. And maybe that's the reason why I don't see it like they're so old, because so many people from different ages are messing with them, as opposed to like the 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know any youngster that's messing with them because it's too expensive. It's usually the older individuals, right? um but yeah, man, I think we're missing out on a lot. I think that there's so much that Gene or Rob or other people can bring to the table, but we're missing that sense of communication. And in that sense, we're also um, it's the same thing. It's the same in my head. It applies to the same thing. By allowing newer cars into these shows, you're taking spots away from those cars that could have history in them, could have a great story about them. Not necessarily expensive builds, god awful T37s, but just something different, And I think that's where I'm having like, um, that mental like blockage of like 90s doesn't belong here. Looks away as an organizer who holds his event in a parking lot. Yeah, but no, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I don't know if I've told you that, but I've told a lot of people. So some of you guys may, I mean, I know Ralph is the one of the main, um is one of three, um why am I blinking out? Not host, creators and host of the Cali Accord Meet. I enjoyed it way more when it was at Griffith Park. Tons more. It was a park, it was mellow, it was chill. Obviously, it got too big, and then you ended up putting in a as you call that, parking space. I like the location, but you're right. I did not like the fact that it was just an open space. I'd rather have you know, I'd rather have it be smaller, um, but cool. Like there's something to do. Like I don't know. That's just my opinion. But that's what it was. I mean, you guys were very organized, to say the least. You guys kept it very clean, very safe, um, full on, took care of everything. But I'll tell you, Ralph, when you guys brought in food, you guys started, having catering, and somebody was on the mic hosting and music. I am not a big fan of that. I feel like instead of having a food truck, which, I guess, it helps people get hungry or whatever, I'd rather have a couple more cars, be able to showcase. Again, yes, I'm very picky and I'm very opinionated. But I'm not running that show, and so therefore I just show up. I enjoy what I have to enjoy, and then I dip. And that was another thing. I know you guys, when the Cali Accord we couldn't leave before 3 because of safety regulations and things like that, which is super understandable. Uh, but that's the reason. That's the reason why Cali Accord meet is probably the only meet that I've signed up for, because I don't like waiting there the whole freaking day. The last Calicore meet that I went to, my brother, the night before, I went to drop off something at his work. He's like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." And I was like, "Dude, like, I don't want to go." I'm like, if I go, I'll park in the street. That's before the YouTube channel. And that's it. Like, I'll see the cars. It's like, no, let's go, let's go. And I was like, all right. So we ended up going. That's because of my brother. I'm just not a big show, but you guys were very organized. Again, if you give me an option, Ralph, I'd definitely pick a smaller venue, something nicer. Um, I don't know. That's just my mentality. Gus, what you think about J32 Swap 6 Gen Accord? They're awesome. They haul butt, man. I guess you would say the 6 Gen Accords are a little bit on the heavier side, and so a J32 Swap, it's almost like they belong there, to be honest with you. So I definitely, and it's been done. It has been done. There's a couple of dudes from I want to say Royal Courts, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Royal Courts, or I think it's Royal Courts, um, who are have J32 swap 6 Gen. No, I don't think it's Royal Courts, but yeah, you should definitely check out Royal Courts. They have a nice clean courts, and JDM Squad from Bakersfield. They J swap everything, so they would be able to provide you with that info. Rob, I'm 42. Yeah, you are old. Gene, my bad. I'll send you an update. Yes, and hopefully we can. Again, I'll always give you smack, Gene, but we definitely want to be able to, showcase that CRX and host you, mostly you, because I'm intrigued with you and your story. I want to hear it, and so um, that's honestly the reason why I kind of want to, really want to get to interview Gene. The point is, Honda doesn't have the pedigree that Chevy and Ford have here, what you call a classic. True, okay. Honda brought the N600 in 1970, but I believe an EF is a classic. Okay, that's true, 100%. I agree with you. I think that's a big part of the reason why I have that in the back of my head. You know, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go up as much as 89, because once I see a 90, it's like I lose my mind. But I believe in EF. It's a classic. Of course you do. Of course you do. You're EF bias. OG Twitter says F. No, God, you guys have awful bad taste. I don't even know where to be. Start with you guys. About to dip to the gym, but I appreciate the good content. Keep grinding, Gus. You for real, boy. The clean cars, man. I appreciate it, man. Definitely. Enjoy your time at the gym, man. Drive safe, and yeah, I just wanted to jump in for a little bit. I mean, it's been 45 minutes. Again, this is what I wanted to do. This is how um, I spend my time. One day we're gonna be gone, and that's it. This is all we have, and for good or bad, it's up to you. So, EF, it's a classic. It has great motorsport history. DA, not so much. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. I mean, would NSX after 91 count as a classic? Uh, hmm. I don't know. I think NSX, the first gen, is a classic, especially a sports car, exotic car. Would I want to see that car at a classic car show? No, I think it's too new. Yes, even if it's 90. And here's why. Because when I bought the first brand new EF, okay, so this is the reason Gene is justifying the EF being a classic. Because when I bought the first brand new EF, it's the same thing as the old guy says. They got a 57 Chevy. It's wanting to build what you couldn't build when you were a kid. No, that makes you a classic. Doesn't make the car a classic, Gene. That makes you old. No, no, you're right. You're right. I get where you're coming from. I think that is cool. Especially Gene bought the DB8 or DB7 brand new. Um, so I get you. I get it. You guys are just, super biased. Super biased. Robert and Gene, you guys are, and obviously the Rob from Canada, these are super biased with an EF. Um, but yes, of course, Red Sonja should be there. And yeah, I'm gonna try to go ahead and enjoy it. And you guys should enjoy the rest of your evening. It's always a pleasure just to catch up with some of you guys. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate every single one of you. You guys are fun. You guys are fun, man. Just and when I see you guys in person, obviously we like to talk smack because that's what I do. And maybe that'd be the next conversation. I think I'm gonna be wrong, even if I'm in a car meet. Everybody's gonna be like, "No, dude, EFs are classic." Like, there's nothing that I can say to change people's mind. That is because one of the oldest chassis in Honda, but ultimately, it's fun to dialogue and just to agree to disagree, I guess. But as always, I hope you guys have I'm not biased. I was 1191. Damn, dude. I was born in 91. We're getting old, fellas. We're getting better though. We're like cheese. No, we're like wine. I'm like cheese. All right, fellas. You guys have a wonderful night. Ladies, if anybody was in the chat, I appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful Wednesday tomorrow.